Hello, this is Mrs. Kyler, and I am here to help you with Chapter 7, and in another lesson I'll go over Chapter 8. These two chapters are all about style. Remember, we're going to be having that big style exam, so you really need to know this information. Style is what helps us to write easy-to-read documents. And that's one thing I really like about technical writing is that there's no shades of gray, so to speak. It's just black and white. You follow these principles and your information should be more clear. So, first of all, the first principle is that you need to make actors the subjects of your sentences. It's important that you acknowledge your own responsibilities and explain your reader's responsibilities. Who is supposed to do what? That's how you do it. You make the actors the subjects of your sentences. Okay, so one of the first things we need to know is how do you find what is the actor? So first step is find the main verb in the sentence. Find out who or what is performing the action. And make that who or what the subject of the sentence. Now to better understand this little visual will help. The subject is a fixed position. It's right there at the beginning of your sentence. So you have subject, verb. And the reason that is people that speak and read English expect to see the subject first in the sentence. So anything they hear there is what they're going to perceive to be the subject. Now let's see, that's not always the case. The report is in our subject slot. Was typed by Samantha is in our verb slot. So we see that the report is going to be perceived as our subject. But who's really typing the report? Samantha, right? So we need to put Samantha into the subject slot because she's the actor. She's the one doing the action. So Samantha typed the report. Now I know who did it, right? Samantha. And if it was done incorrectly, Samantha's the one we can blame. If it's done beautifully, she gets the credit. So let's practice. It is important to turn in the assignment on time. Well, when people say sentences like that, I'm thinking, that's not about me, ha ha ha. They're talking about somebody else. So let's make sure they know that I need to turn in that assignment. So what can we do? You need to turn in the assignment on time. That word it is just a placeholder. It's there in the subject slot, but it doesn't belong there. It's not the actor. The person that turns in the assignment should be there. You need to turn in the assignment on time. Sometimes you need to reword these a little better to make them more clear. There are assignments that need to be turned in tomorrow. Well, okay, I don't know what you're talking about. Who's supposed to do what? So let's make sure that we know. The class needs to turn in their assignments tomorrow. The class was taught by Dr. Sims. Who's teaching the class? Dr. Sims. Dr. Sims taught the class. The film was produced by George Lucas. George Lucas produced the film. Simple as that. Not too bad so far. Okay, so also it's important to use people as subjects, as you've seen. When the subject is people, your reader will understand what the reader must do and what the company must do. Remember, in the work world, we always are addressing different people and their duties. So let's just use I, we, or you as actors for these sentences. The report will be sent out tomorrow. You will send out the report tomorrow. And in this case, you can sometimes make it even more imperative by making it into the command form where the you is implied. So we can just say, send out the report tomorrow, assuming that I've already sent that email to a specific person. Your cholesterol level should be monitored. I'm talking to you. I can make it even more imperative if I say, monitor your cholesterol level. Charlie, right? I'm talking to Charlie. 30 minutes of exercise should be done daily. I don't want to do that by myself, so let's use we. So we should exercise 30 minutes daily. The pizza will be eaten tonight. I'm not going to let anybody else do that. That's going to be me. I will eat the pizza tonight. You can see I'm kind of hungry. Big important. So we've already done, you need to make the actor your subject. and you need to make people your actors, and you need to, this is so important, avoid passive voice. It's a biggie. It's one of the easiest to catch when I'm reading your documents. Passive voice is bad. Okay, so what is it? So we can know to avoid this evil thing. Passive voice, you can recognize it because there's a to be verb plus a past participle verb. Let's make sure we understand the verbs. Memorize the 8 to be verbs. And there should be 8. Is, am, are, were, was, be, been, being. Yay, there's 8 of them. Memorize them. Now, to be verbs on their own are not bad, as I actually have another little PowerPoint here that's just on passive voice. So to be verbs on their own are not bad. It has to be to be verbs plus a past participle. So what is a past participle? Well, we have different forms of our verbs. They can be in the present, they can be in the past, or they can be in the past, dead, gone, and done. So past participle. So I write, I wrote, I have written, or I had written. Submit, submitted, I had submitted. I show, I showed, I have shown. Eat, ate, eaten. Learn, learned, learned. So it's not really important to memorize that this is past participle, but if you see a to be verb before a verb, you'll know, a past tense verb of any kind, you'll know is passive voice. And this one's the past participle. Avoid it when it is with a to be verb. Okay? So remember it. By themselves, they're okay, but if you have them together, the to be verb plus the past participle, that makes passive voice. And this is what it looks like. Is written, was submitted, is shown, was eaten, being learned. Okay, do you notice how those are to be verbs at the beginning and past participle at the end? Bad stuff. Okay, so warning here, again, I told you the to be verbs do not include the forms of the verb have. A lot of people get all those helping verbs mixed up. So we're not talking about all helping verbs, we're just talking about to be verbs. So this is okay. I had written that report. That's fine, right? There's no to be verb, it's just a form of the verb have. I had written. That's just passive, that's past participle all by itself. There's no passive voice there, okay? So it's okay to say, I had written that report. If I had put that in the passive voice, it would be, the report had been written, right? I had that verb to be. So sometimes it's easy to recognize passive voice because very often we have a phrase beginning with the word by. Something had been done by something. The information for the feasibility report was gathered, there's our passive voice, by the team. The information for the feasibility report was gathered by Samantha. For some reason, Samantha keeps popping up here. To make that active, we want to put the actor in the subject slot right next to that verb. The team gathered the information for the feasibility report. And you can see if you do the one principle, you're going to automatically get rid of passive voice. So all these principles pretty much help each other. Okay, so avoid passive voice, and to get more on passive voice, look at that special lesson I have. I have another little PowerPoint on that. Practice, practice, practice. But another principle is put the action in the verbs. It's actually, when you put the action in a noun, it's called nominalization. That's a big word. But you do not want to bury the action in the noun. So here's an example. The police conducted an investigation of the robbery. Okay. So here, what's really happening is an investigation, right? Conducting really doesn't tell us anything. I mean, you can't really visualize. It's not a very concrete verb. So investigation is a noun, but we want to make that into a verb, right? So we can know exactly what the action is. So it says, what did the police conduct? They conducted an investigation. So again, the word conduct does not tell us anything. The action is buried in the noun, in the nominalization, investigation. And just as a little funny, nominalization itself is a nominalization. So we want to change the noun investigation into a verb. Investigation, take out the shun at the end, and it turns into investigate. You want to take the noun and put it into the verb form. The police investigated the robbery. So here are some little clues. If you see a word that ends in shun, or ledge, that's usually a verb that's being changed into a noun. So investigation goes to investigate. Motivation should be changed to motivate. Discussion should go to discuss. Submission to submit. Discovery to discover. And knowledge to know. Here's some more examples. Okay, this is wrong. The manual will help you gain the knowledge necessary to assist in the assemblage of this computer. Blah. That sounds like you're trying to be fancy and intelligent, but it doesn't really say anything clearly. This would be right. In this manual, I will teach you how to assemble this computer. I didn't even have to use the word knowledge. If I teach you, it's assumed that you will have the knowledge, right? Okay, so put the action in the verb. Discovery equals noun. Okay, here's the example. Her discovery of the missing bolts happened on Friday. First of all, that's a really dumb sentence, but it doesn't really tell us anything clearly. So discovery equals a noun. We need to make discovery a verb. It's much clearer when we say she discovered the missing bolts on Friday. Okay, I left out that, but yeah, on Friday is probably important too. So watch out. Here's some verbs that usually do not have any action in them. So make, happen, become, was, is, are, were, any of the to be verbs, conduct. If you see these, you know you're going to have to change them into a more specific verb that's probably hidden somewhere else in the sentence. So here's some practice. The gangster made threats against the man. What would we say? The gangster threatened the man. He gave a promise to his wife that he would remember the anniversary. He promised his wife that he would remember the anniversary. I conducted research on nuclear energy for 3 years. Why not we just say, I researched nuclear energy for 3 years. His presentation of the awards happened this morning. Happened is a really bad verb. I hate it. Ugh. He presented the awards this morning. So much better.